the song was in Tagalog.
I am nowhere near the leagues of course, the greats.
Yes, I did. It's okay. It's okay.
Abu Dhabi sobbed that night. How Alex's 110 million hearts were broken and then repaired. Off the Persian Gulf, the wind whips like a knife through the gloom of the desert. A sharp, dry cold that descends into your bones. Abu Dhabi in February 2026. The city is a vast network of neon lights and glass. An oasis in the future that never genuinely slumbers. However, on this particular on the corner of Sheikh Zayed on a Tuesday night, the world appeared to stop on the street. Spinning. It was the turning point that made in the Philippines 110 million people hold their breath. Above the bustle, the enormous Mubadala Tower's exterior, typically a chilly corporate steel monolith, came alive all of a sudden. It didn't show a stock exchange. It showed no signs of oil. Cost. The street below soaked in a dazzling, emerald-colored wash crimson red and green. And there, standing 50 stories tall, a face, Alex's face. Below, a bus sat idling. At a red light, music. Inside, a domestic maid named Amelia hasn't saw Bulacan's rice fields in 6 years. She massaged her eyes, exhausted. She was worn out, her bones hurting from a sinking into that numb 12-hour shift, the interval between being awake and sleeping. Next, she was struck by light. The filtered emerald glow painting the bus window via faded chairs with homey hues. Amelia glanced up. She noticed the picture, the dirt, when viewed through the eyes of the Philippines' daughter projected against the sky of the desert. "You did, Alex," Amelia muttered. Tears started to fall. Abruptly, quickly, and hot. She did not see a tennis player. She was examining herself. She was observing every sacrifice. Every lonely, every quiet prayer was murmured at Christmas. In an unfamiliar language. Far away, in a calm hotel room, Alex Ellis watched the window. She had stopped hearing the clamor of the masses or the statistics of the commentators. She remained still, the city lights illuminating her young face. She sensed it, nor the notoriety, nor the rating factors, but the unseen, crushing, lovely weight of affection from thousands of miles away from home. It was a message she spoke from her heart. That made all the difference. This evening, we are discussing more than simply tennis. We are discussing more than simply forehands and backhands. We are discussing the 20-year-old female turned into a gigantic one night, and how a skyscraper's solitary picture made millions of foreigners cry. Greetings from Champions Tennis. This is the Golden Girls Desert Storm narrative. To comprehend the reason behind that tower's face was so important that we had go back in time. Clock only a few days. We must leave. Returning to the center's oppressive heat, Zed Sports City's court center for international tennis. The year 2026, the goal of the MUBA Abu Dhabi Open was not to be the coronation of Alex Eala. It was intended to serve as a cemetery for qualifiers. It was a stacked field. Grand top 10 heavyweights, the Slam champions, the frightening WTA Tour elite. Hey Alex, following a difficult campaign at the strolled into the desert during the Australian Open. With a fire within and a target on her back. Her abdomen. The story was straightforward. The tennis is not played in the Philippines. We do boxing. We play hoops. We create beauty. Pageants. However, tennis is for the strong Americans, the towering Europeans. The memo was not received by Alex Eala. The game this week wasn't a final, as defined. It was a brutal round of 16 matchup against Alexandra Sasnovich, Ali. In case you missed one of the games in this match. Husso's best performances, that the history of the legendary Filipino heart of the game. Imagine the situation, the third set. The scoreboard is terrifying. Film. Alex is down from 0 to 4. The momentum has changed entirely. Sasnovich is painting the ball, bludgeoning at lines, searching the entire planet for she's going to reserve a meal. Reservation. The OFWs in the crowded crowd who had expressly taken the day off to witness Alex enter a tense, frightened quiet. A pin could be heard. Fall. It was possible to hear the squeak of sneakers. 0 down, 4-0. Point of match, a threat. Here, most players give up. They take a peek at their coach. They give a shrug. They consider the journey home. Yellow Alex moved to the baseline and wiped away his perspiration from her forehead, rearranging her strings. She then turned on the switch. What pure delirium was what followed. A down-the-line forehand winner. Boom. A serve widely, causing dust to fly skyward. Boom. The deficit decreased. 4:1, 4:2, and 4-3. The swarm of Filipinos awoke. The Let's the possibility for Alex began as a rumbling and became a thunderclap that rocked the stadium bases. She didn't just return. She retreated with a claw from the grave, preserving a point in a match where the line was clipped by a backhand millimeters. A millimeter that dissociated loss at the hands of fate. She coerced the tiebreak. The tiebreak went to her. When the last ball traveled far from Alex, didn't rejoice like a Sasnovich adolescent in a panic. She let her go, gazed up to the stands at the racket. Philippine flags flying in the sky shrieked in the dusty air. It wasn't a joyous shout. It was a cry of release. She had transformed one path into a revolution. She arrived at the WTA 500 quarterfinals. She shoved 11th in the world, Akaterina to the utmost of her abilities, Alexandrova prior to bowing out. However, the score line no longer mattered. The communication had been sent. The girl who was formerly the potential was now an issue. However, to truly appreciate the illumination on that tower, you must comprehend the blackness that before it. You've to comprehend the existence of Alex Eala. It hasn't been a happy ending. It has been a grind. Consider yourself 13 years old. Consider packing a bag, embracing your farewell to parents at Nino Ano, flying from an international airport an island halfway around the world if the language is not your first language, lack knowledge of the culture, and when will your mother prepare you sinigang? It's been a difficult day for you. It belonged to Alex. Truth when she acknowledged the Rafa Nadal Academy scholarship in Spain's Mallorca. It wasn't summertime. Camp. This was a champion factory. Operated by the greatest Uncle Tony Nadal, the greatest clay court player in history. The criteria were harsh. The instruction was unrelenting. As other teenagers were sharing TikTok videos and heading to Alex was bleeding on the red soil at prom, sweltering under the heat of Spain, perfecting a lefty forehand that would eventually frighten the tour. Some evenings to go to sleep, she sobbed herself. We are aware of this. Due of her candor on the loneliness, the seclusion of being the among a sea of Europeans, only Filipino. The pressure to understand that her junior performances were being monitored by the nation, anticipating her failure, or hoping for her to soar. However, something occurred in Manacor. The pleasant Quezon City girl acquired a murderous instinct. She'd taken in the DNA of Rafael Nadal, the reluctance to death, the capacity to endure pain on the court, and refer to it as enjoyable. She did not just graduate having completed high school, but with a degree in the art of psychological warfare. When Rafa Nadal was standing next to her, and several of best players in the game at tournaments held she was more than a fan, according to the Academy. Capturing a picture. She was an associate in the creating. She glanced at the winners. She didn't see idols around her. She saw opponents of the future. Additionally, in recent years, that time in the future has come with terrible clarity. Let's discuss the moments of breakthrough. The year that the fucking broke. If you're only a casual admirer, you may have overlooked the huge change. You may have overlooked those crucial competitions where Alex moved from committing junior to a real danger. Allow me to remind you of what took place because it is legendary stuff. The instruction at Rafa Nadal Academy indicated that she had worked with and gained knowledge from interactions with elite athletes. Regardless of whether in exhibition games, drills, or contest draws, the atmosphere was broken. The girl who was formerly starstruck was hitting stars now. The confidence in those Spanish training courts were now being converted into wins in the main draw and deep tournament sprints. The Grand Slam followed. Breakthrough, the New York City concrete jungle York. When August 2025 arrives, no Filipino has anyone ever won a main draw. A Grand Slam singles match in the open period. A glass ceiling was what had steel reinforcements. Alex destroyed it in the US against Claratson. Open. In the third, she was down 1-5. Set. 1-5. That's a death sentence. When playing tennis, that's when you pack your luggage. However, Alex recalled Manicure. The bus rides came back to her. She recalled the flag. She retracted her clause. Point by painful point to secure that a tiebreak match. As soon as the umpire game, set, match, Eala, was declared, barrier that had been in place for 50 years dissolved. She won more than one match. She affirmed 100 years of Filipino history of tennis. She demonstrated that the Filipino bodies are frequently criticized for though too small for contemporary tennis, he was able to of producing nuclear energy. The triumph sent shockwaves through the tennis court, both abroad and in the Philippines, where millions of people remained during the night to see the past. Let's go now. In Abu Dhabi, back on the bus. Come on. Let's go return to Eala. What made her cry? Why did a tennis player's image creates an adult woman sobs as she heads out for the evening? Change? Because Alex Eala's story is the domestic worker's story in Hong Kong. The seafarers in the midst of the Pacific. The Bagong Bayani are who they are. Today's heroes. They send money home. They construct homes that they hardly ever use. They use video calls to raise their kids. They understand the experience of being small in a vast world. They understand the experience of being undervalued. They are aware of what it is. Prefer to put in twice as much effort to receive half the reverence shown when Alex Eala enters the court in Doha, Abu Dhabi, or even on foot Russian. In the Filipino nannies feel somewhat taller when she, after a tiring rally, screaming start. The construction worker from the Philippines feels a bit more powerful. The Mubala's face that wasn't marketing, tower. It was a mirror. Abu Dhabi was recognizing that their city's vitality isn't only the oil. People are the ones who construct it, take care of it, and serve it. Additionally, there the princess had just arrived. The tower was the UAE's colors are red and green. However, for a single evening, through the lens of it seemed very much like blue tears. Eala has amassed a collection that is becoming into horrifying. The lefty advantage comes first. Being left-handed in tennis is similar to possessing a cheat code. The ball rotates in the other direction. Right-handers are forced into their bodies. It creates angles that ought not to exist. Alex is now proficient at using similar to a surgeon's scalpel. Her forehand cross-court pouring with heavy her Nadal Academy provided her with top spin. Competitors are pulled off the court during training, getting the kill line open. The backhand down the line comes in second. This is a money shot for her. When she's under pressure, upon being thrust into the corner, most athletes move across the floor to security. Alex intervenes and destroys it. The line. It's an extremely risky shot that needs steely nerves. She succeeds. With someone's casual assurance requesting coffee. Third, the mental heartless. This is the invisible stat. You cannot use a radar gun to measure it, but against Sasnovich, you witnessed it. You witnessed it. Versus Towson. Alexa doesn't become scared. She appears to have a decrease in heart rate when the stakes go up. The clutch gene is in her. As her opponents tighten their grips, hands shuddering, Alex appears to go into a meditative state. It's the mindset of Mamba. Converted to Tagalog. She is now rising in the ranks, rapping on the top 100's door and beyond.
Take a moment to process that.
From thousands of players in the professional league competing on a worldwide scale, she is creating herself as a serious candidate. She is no longer a junior with promise. She is a real danger to everybody around the net. The murmurs coming from the women's locker, the noise level in the room is increasing. Players with experience are researching her game for their assignment. Her tendencies are being examined by coaches. The surprise factor is diminishing. Swapped out by a stronger force. Show respect. When the name of Alex Eala comes up in a draw, no longer is it a free pass to the following circular. It may be a landmine. The top seeds are beginning to comprehend what Filipino fans are aware of along. This girl is more than a plaything. Tennis. She uses the weaponry and fights war. Continue to change. Once her service viewed as a weakness has included vital miles. Her constant swiftness has become accurate and inexpensive. She's gaining a better understanding of the game level, seeing trends, and establishing traps. The Academy of Nadal hammered into her the significance of building points, not only making shots. You are able to observe it in her current bouts. The ability to wait when grinding is required, the bravery to strike when the chance arises shows up. However, her most she believes it to be a lethal weapon. There is a distinction between wishing you can succeed and being aware that you can.
Alex has gone over that line.
When she enters the court in opposition to a top 20 player, she does not see a higher authority. Adversary. She spots a person who can bleed, someone capable of shattering who has never had to deal with the strain of conveying 110 million people's dreams individuals. So, what are our next steps? The 2026 season is still in its early stages. The Mubadala the Abu Dhabi Open was only the beginning. It's almost time for the main meal. We possess that the Qatar Open is approaching. We possess the duty-free tennis tournaments in Dubai, and then the gradual advance on the clay Roland Garros' courts. The surface on which she was brought up in the Academy of Nadal. The platform on which her game really shines. The experts are giddy. The murmurs and the noise in the locker room is increasing. They're claiming that the dark horse is Eala in 2026. According to them, a deep run, a semifinal, or even a Grand Slam semifinal is more than merely feasible, but unavoidable. The attraction at Wimbledon and Flushing's hard courts, Paris's red clay meadows, each provides Alex with a chance to etch her name farther into the annals of history. However, let's examine what actually stands in her direction. The route to the summit is strewn with bright people's ambitions dashed players who are unable to break through. The tour's physical toll is cruel. 32 weeks of competition, frequent travel, several time zones, various surfaces. The strain increases with each victory. The expectations rise. What used to be lovable underdog personality turns into the oppressive burden of patriotism. However, this is what the skeptics don't comprehend. There comes a time when this is a wonderful example. It took place during a Nadal practice session Academy years in the past. Alex was having trouble. Missed shots, obviously annoyed. Tony Nadal, the renowned instructor who influenced Rafa, transformed into a warrior and entered the court. He was not sympathetic. He didn't make the message softer. He just declared, "When no one is, champions are made." Observing. He then turned to go. Alex remained there for 3 more hours by herself, pounding balls till she hands were bleeding. Not because a coach was observing, not because of the cameras rolling, however, since deep down her Filipino spirit, she realized the sole individual capable of making her she fulfilled her ambitions. That moment of loneliness turned into the basis for all subsequent developments. The Philippines is currently observing. Oh, way they are observing. Within the barangays of Manila, in the Mindanao provinces, among the alpine villages within the busy streets of the Cordilleras, Cebu, the Philippine flag everywhere. Eala's bouts are quick. Viewing by appointment. Families come together in the vicinity of smartphones. Alongside her, tarpaulins' faces show up on the streets. Little girls retrieve tennis rackets for the first time. Their parents spending money on education they are scarcely able to afford, driven by the hope that perhaps, just possibly, they're the next Alex, maybe your daughter. The Philippine Tennis Association has revealed a 300% rise in junior enrollment in tennis following Alex's U.S. Open triumph. 300%. Courts that were vacant are currently packed. Equipment stores are unable to have rackets on hand.
Tennis.
Because so long, the elite sport, the country club game, is evolving into democratic. And the reason for this is a 20-year-old left-handed person with a terrible forehand and an unwavering determination. However, the objective is still the same for Alex. The ranking isn't important, however the rankings are important. It's not about the money for prizes, but the millions she's building up are protecting her family's the future.
There's more to it than that.
Anything that is nearly spiritual. It concerns that window. It involves standing in a hotel room in an unfamiliar country, gazing out in an unfamiliar city, and being aware of her ability to transform a chilly concrete skyscraper into a light of hope. Eala on the bus is the subject. It's regarding the Qatari construction worker who surreptitiously checks the score on his phone while working. It concerns the Toronto nurse who works till 3 o'clock morning to attend Alex's games ahead of her morning routines. It concerns the small Cebu girl grabbing a racket for the initially since she's seen Alex on YouTube and believed, if she's capable, the unseen is this. Perhaps I can, too. Thread linking Alex to the diaspora of Filipinos. This is the connection that goes beyond tennis. When she retaliates down from 0-4 in the third set, she's not only preserving a game of tennis. She is endorsing each and every OFW who has ever been ignored, spoken down to, or undervalued. When she yells in victory during a tough 3-hour fight, she's giving each and every silent offering made on behalf of nation and family. The moment in the tower all of this was solidified in Abu Dhabi. For one ideal evening, the whole environment in agreement. Filipino laborers in the United Arab Emirates, hundreds of thousands in number, beheld that emerald reflection of themselves. And red light. They observed their difficulty recognized. They observed their champions were honored on a worldwide scale. And they shed tears. Not sad tears, but tears of appreciation. With tears in their eyes. We matter and are seen. Our girl-made Alex was standing at her window when it happened. Sensed it. The magnitude of it, the elegance of it, and its responsibilities. Due to being recognized as a Philippine national hero isn't comparable to becoming famous anyplace. Otherwise, it has nothing to do with endorsements and covers of magazines. It's about becoming into a live representation of potential. It concerns bearing the aspirations of millions of people who will never get the chances you've been given. Provided. It's about realizing that their success is yours, and your failure would feel as though they had failed. As well, that responsibility is unachievable for a 20 years old to transport. Aside from Alex, Eala has been bearing unachievable weights from the age of 13. She has been residing with pressure since she had a racket in her hands. Now that she has learnt, things are different. To convert that force into energy, she is not crushed by the expectations. Rather, they raise her up. The spotlight does not cause blindness. Her way is illuminated by it. As the Mubala Tower's lights dimmed thus at night, Eala's visage disappeared into the shadows, but the subsequent picture continued to sear into the retinas of all those who witnessed it. The emerald and crimson light did more than simply light up a building, it lit up a walkway. It revealed to us that a girl's the Philippines is able to stand tall among the giants. It demonstrated to us that distance cannot break the ties of flag and blood. We learned from it that tennis, that sport that is cruel, and merciless, may be overcome by a person who appears similar to us, has our voice, and bears our flag. Alexa isn't simply playing anymore. Tennis. She is using a pen to write history, a graphite racket, and a yellow ball. She is 110 million people's frenetic heartbeat individuals, the emerald monarch of the desert. And she had only just begun. From here, the voyage becomes more difficult, not simpler. The adversaries get more powerful. The pressure increases. The margin for error decreases. However, if one item as Eala has demonstrated, she doesn't back down from difficulties. She develops into them. Thus, the next time you watch Alexa enter a courtroom, don't just attend the ball. Observe her eyes. Observe there, the fire burns. The same fire it sustained her throughout her lonely evenings in Majorca, through the terrible losses, during periods of uncertainty. Observe her battle as she's not just defending herself. She is battling for Eala on the bus. She is battling for all Filipinos who have ever felt inadequate amid a vast planet. She is battling for the future, for the young females who are going to pursue her, as she will have an easier time path because she was the first to make it. And recall the evening when the desert wept and the tower became animated. Keep in mind that in this chilly, pessimistic environment, sports can continue to work wonders. A 20-year-old who has a tennis racket may still bring in millions of dollars. Weeping. A triumphant moment can still bring a dispersed country together. With a face on, we might still be reminded by a tower that we are all involved, all working, all wishing for a greater good than ourselves. The Alex Eala's tale is currently being written. Perhaps the finest chapters are still ahead. World rankings and the Grand Slam finals can cause vertigo, eclipse moments, even Abu Dhabi's magic. However, there will be whatever follows. The 110 million people will be observing, wishing, believing, and praying. Due to Alex taught us a valuable lesson that our aspirations are not too lofty, not very audacious, and our girl is not too little. I want to hear from you now. Did you see the game versus Sasnovich? Did the chills hit you? When did she return from 0 to 4? Additionally, for our What Are OFW Cababanes watching at the moment? What does Alex signify to you? Leave a comment underneath with your flag. Now, let's flip the comment area into a sea of red, blue, white, and yellow. If this narrative shifted, if you think that the rise of smash that like in Philippine tennis, Alex smash is a forehand button. Victor. Sign up for Champions Tennis. Then press the alert bell to never miss a second of this momentous travel. Greatness is being witnessed. Keep your eyes open. See you in the upcoming one. Laven Pilipinis.